Imagine growing course sales over 68% with the exact same traffic you have now, or increasing your digital product revenue over 180% with just a few simple tweaks. Look, after analyzing over 645 million in sales, Samcart discovered that by simply adding order bumps and upsells to existing funnels, increases in profits could be as high as 39%. So when you use this simple but proven framework for creating your own upsell pages, you can enjoy results just like these. Hey, I'm Jason, faith-based entrepreneur and marketing geek. Timestamps below, along with some other helpful links and resources, including a link to our sales funnel template pack that is full of our top converting funnel pages, our email campaign, and course framework to help you get up and running as quickly as possible. We'll be using a free forever software called Systemi that actually allows you to build all of your funnel pages, not just creating upsells and order bumps and checkouts, as well as sending automated emails and creating courses on their free forever plan. No silly 14 or 30-day trials. Now, right after someone purchases, irrespective of the funnel strategy we use, we want to make another offer. Why? Because we know they're in the buying mood. We know that they're interested in solving the problems that we have. And so why don't we be more helpful and offer them more solutions? Now, there's two keys to success here before we dive into ideas and the framework for it and all this fun stuff. Number one, it should never diminish the value of whatever it is they just purchased. So the last thing you want to do is have an upsell and then people look at it and go, shouldn't that be in what I just bought? Or worse, they go, I thought I just bought that. Right? And so the best way to avoid this altogether is key number two, position it as the logical next step. So as an example, if we were selling a Facebook ads course, or let's say a course on how to write Facebook ads, well, the logical next step would be something about maybe landing pages or something about emails, right? Because someone who's driving Facebook traffic, presumably they're growing their email list or hopefully they're making some sales. So the next thing we can do is help them out now that they're driving that Facebook traffic. And so as long as you can position your upsell as the next step on their journey, like the next level up or just the next thing that they're going to do, then it can help separate the value of what they just purchased and the value of what you're offering in your upsell. And that's really as much thought as we need to give to the upsell. But if you want some upsell ideas, here are a couple of quick ones. Now, as we rapid fire through these three ideas, remember this is just a starting point. If you already have an offer, and even if you think it's completely unrelated, go ahead and add it as an upsell. The worst that can happen is everybody says no, right? And again, timestamps below to skip around. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one, which is just going to be another digital product. So this can be a resource guide. This could be a tool kit or just a one-off template, a workshop, or a full-blown course, something that complements whatever it is that they just purchased. Of course, it can be on the same subject or same topic, but we just need to make sure that it's clear that these are two separate things and nobody thinks that, oh, this offer should have been included in what I just purchased. Now, the second one is pretty much never going to have that problem, and that's going to be some sort of subscription. The simplest type is a newsletter. This is going to be where you're going to do a bunch of research and reporting on their behalf, right? So if I'm going with my Facebook ads example that I always like, this would be us sharing insights from our ad accounts, right? Sharing insights from our client accounts, anonymized, of course. Or maybe we go out and we do a bunch of Facebook ads research, every other week or something, and then we bring all that data to our subscribers. And so essentially we're doing a bunch of work that our subscribers don't have time for, and we're providing information. We're providing information that our subscribers do care about. They just don't have time to go do all that research themselves. And speaking of not having time to do things, the third type, of course, is going to be some sort of membership. Now, technically, this is also a subscription, but the difference is you're going to be providing direct access to you to answer questions. Of course, this has become really popular recently with the launch, or I should say relaunch of some software, but this model has been around for quite a while. Now, something I do want to note here is this is not going to work in terms of what you might have heard in other sales pitches where it's going to be this great mastermind where everyone's going to join your community and then they're just going to talk to each other and you just kind of have to lightly manage, right? People are joining because they want answers from you. So do make sure that if you go this route, you're ready and willing and aren't going to be drained by answering lots of questions or doing live Ask Me Anything webinars or calls inside of whatever your community is. And Systemi actually does have a community feature. I really don't recommend using a Facebook group for this. Definitely use a proper software so you actually have control over the content and, of course, your members as well. And so that does it for the 3 ideas. Again, if you already have something sitting around, just add it as an upsell. The worst that can happen is other people say no. Now let's go through the conversion anatomy of your upsell page, and a good way to think of this is just a really long ad. And when it comes to the framework we like to use, I like to use AIDA. It stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. Yes, I use this framework pretty much throughout every page in our funnel. If it converts, just keep using it, right? And so at the very top, we're going to grab attention. Number 1 with our transaction bridge, more on that in a moment. And then number 2, of course, a headline that is really clear and upfront. We're selling you something else, right? Then we go into interest, where we either have a picture of the upsell or we have a 3-minute Pine Formula VSL. We'll go through that as well. And then, of course, we need some bullet points to explain whatever it is the upsell offer is. Just a couple of features and quick roadblock breakers and results that they can get. Then if we have testimonials, 2 max, super short and sweet, like testimonials you would have on your checkout page or checkout section, very short, like 1 or 2 lines. And then of course we have the action, and that's going to be where we have a image of the picture, we have a big price drop, and we show them the massive discount they're getting because they're buying right now, and it's kind of like a special offer and thank you for being a customer and making their first purchase. And of course this section also has the non-action button, which is no thank you, I want to skip. Now let's take a deeper dive into each one of these. Again, timestamps to skip around. So when it comes to grabbing attention, there's really 2 subsections here. The first one is the transaction bridge, because we need to make it clear to our customers that the transaction is still open and it's still going. So that's all we're doing up here, is essentially saying, hey, hold on, your order is not yet complete. Now, depending upon your niche or industry, people have probably seen pages like this before. When they first came out, everybody was confused and they weren't working and people hit back, and it was a mess, right? So we just need people to stay on this page and either click yes, I want to upgrade, or no, I don't. Now, the good news is most funnel builders are smart enough to close the transaction after 5 to 10 minutes. So if someone if for whatever reason just leaves this page open and comes back 2 hours later, it's probably not going to work. And you're still going to get paid for the initial offer that they purchased. So software has taken care of all of that for us. So we're just trying to make sure that people stay on this page and give us another couple minutes of their time to check out this next offer. And that's where our headline is going to come in. So we'll go through a basic formula here. As you can see, get the mechanism that allowed me to result. We're being super blunt. Yes, we're selling you something else. Yes, we think it's going to be helpful, right? So not beating around the bush at all. We don't have a lot of time either. So our headline starts with a mechanism. Now it wouldn't really make sense to say the course that allowed me to result. So you want to pull out a method, a strategy, some sort of unique mechanism inside of, I know I just said mechanism to describe mechanism, but something unique inside whatever you're offering that delivered the big results that your offer delivers. So in this particular instance, I'm going to call it the Facebook ads library, right? There's probably a better way to say a collection of Facebook ads, but hey, it's just an example, and I was running out of ideas, honestly. So then we go to the results. So just like you would do on all your other pages, make a list of results that, or I should say for all your other offers, make a list of results that your upsell offer delivers, and then pick the one you think is most important to your ideal customer. And not necessarily be the biggest, but it would be the most important. And then, of course, we want to use some copywriting chops, maybe play with AI a little bit to spruce up whatever the result is. So in this particular instance, I could have had a headline that read, get the Facebook ads library so you can learn from other Facebook ads and convert better, right? Or something like that. That's a terrible idea. My notes definitely had something better. but I'm blanking. And so instead we have, get the Facebook ads library so you can ethically borrow proven to convert ad campaigns. So instead of just saying, so you can write better ads, in this particular instance, we're focusing on what they're going to be able to do. So again, we could have just as easily said, here's a bunch of awesome ads so you can write better ads yourself. But you do want to play with it and kind of dig into what they're going to actually be doing. And this is really helpful with upsell pages because then you are tying not only the result that they want, but you're also tying an action to whatever it is you are providing. I know that's kind of a subtle difference and that might not even make sense. I don't think I did a good job explaining that. But essentially we're saying, hey, you're going to actually be able to use this to do something tangible. We're not just giving you a bunch more information that you're going to have to sit through another 3-hour course. We don't want people to feel like they have to sit through more information. So we want to make this actionable as possible. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So the next part of your upsell page, this is going to be the majority of it. This is, of course, building interest, right? And so with building interest, we're going to communicate the details of our upsell offer. And we're going to do this with 5 bullet points. Now, as you take a look at this example, you'll probably notice that I use the same 5 bullet points for all my stuff. We did run an experiment. We have a funnel where we use the same bullet points on the landing page, on a sales page, and the upsell page. I should say the same bullet point formulas, and they still work, right? Different offers, right? Or lead magnet, main offer, upsell offer. But when it comes to these formulas, they really do work. And by the way, your customers are not going to care that you're using the same copywriting technique the whole way through. If anything, it just sounds like you have a consistent voice, right? So if it worked on your landing page, it's probably going to work on your upsell page, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and go through an example here. We have 5 bullet points, but of course, for time purposes, I'll just go through one here. So here's a quick example. Learn how to verb so you can break roadblock to result. So we'll start with the result part of the sentence. This is where I like to start. So we already have a list of results because we made a list from our headline. So all we need to do is choose one of them and plug them in, and then we can build out the rest of the sentence. So we're going back to front. And I realized it's a mirror, so it probably should go this way. I always get confused when recording. So for the result, we're just going to go ahead and say more clicks is what they want. So we'll go ahead and say to boost click-through rates. And then we want to think of what's getting in the way of them not having high click-through rates. Now, to speed things up, spoiler alert, when we make the list of roadblocks, it's going to be ads, right? If your ad copy isn't great, nobody's clicking, right? And so in this particular instance, we'll address that and say craft better ads. So if they can craft better ads, if they can get over that hump, then they're going to be able to get the result that they ultimately want. And this is really as basic as copywriting is, right? It's just kind of like if this, then that. And so now that we have that overly simplistic example, now comes the hard part. So this is where we have to tell them the verb, like what action are they going to take that will allow them to write better ads so they can have better click-through rates. And so this is where it gets a little murky because on the one hand, we got to admit, we have to be honest with people. You're going to have to do work, right? Unless this is a done-for-you service, they're going to have to do something. But we don't want to make it sound so arduous that it becomes an objection, right? You say, okay, all you have to do is study. All you have to do is study 20 hours, and then you'll be a copywriting expert, and you can craft better ads to boost your click-through rates. I don't want to study for 20 hours, right? So we need to figure out something simpler that they can do. We're acknowledging that they have to do work, but it doesn't sound daunting. And of course, we need to make sure our product doesn't make it daunting. So long story short, we went ahead and chose find your competitors' ads. So in this particular instance, we're saying, hey, you can learn how to find your competitors' ads so you can craft better ads to boost your click-through rates. Now, of course, this isn't explicit, but it's implying that when you find your competitors' ads, it'll give you better ideas so you can improve your ads. And so that's kind of what we're doing here. Again, link in the cards in the description to a video that goes through all the copywriting you would need for your upsell page and of course, all your funnel pages as well. So the last part, drive action. This is going to be super simple, super basic. we are going to do a big price drop. We're going to offer some sort of money back guarantee. And then of course we have the buttons to for the upsell yay or the upsell nay. Yeah, there we go. So first, your money back guarantee. Just make this the same length of time as the sales page. I know that probably seems like a no-brainer, but I have literally gone through funnels and had stories of students who say they went through funnels that refused to give them a refund on the upsells. So they got a refund on the main product, but then they didn't get a refund on the upsell. Now, yes, technically, you can tell your customers, well, I didn't say there was a free refund on the upsell. I only had that on the sales page. Well, I can pretty much guarantee you that anyone who purchases an upsell is going to logically and reasonably assume whatever guarantee you had on the sales page applies to everything else. Now, can you do it differently? Of course, but I think you're just going to have some pissed off customers. So might as well just make it consistent throughout and don't overthink it. And then underneath this money back guarantee, you will just have this giant block of look at how much money you are saving. Because at the end of the day, this is the kind of biggest persuasion, kind of urgency or hook for this offer. And we're essentially saying, hey, thank you for being a customer. We have this other awesome thing that you think you would enjoy. As a thank you for being a customer, here's this massive, insane discount right here only, right? And you do want to make sure that you have a discount that doesn't show up anywhere else. Like if someone has already seen it somewhere or they see it later on, then no one's going to take your upsell seriously anymore. So do make sure that it really is a great deal, only available as an upsell. Maybe you add some bonuses as well if you want to sell that product at that same price other places. And so one of the other things that we'll want to address here is, well, how much should the upsell be? And that, of course, it depends. So here's a couple of different pricing kind of options just to help you in terms of if my front end offer is $5, then my upsell could be $25. Or if my front end offer is $95, my upsell could be $125, or it could just be $25 again, right? Honestly, it should just be based upon what products you have lying around. So if you have products, put them as upsells, right? It really doesn't hurt. In fact, when I first started, one of my first funnels, it started at $4.95. The first upsell was $25. The second upsell was $95, and it had nothing to do with the first two. I was just like, well, might as well. And every once in a while, someone found value in it. Someone purchased. But those couple of sales I wouldn't have gotten, and they made a big deal when I was first getting started, had I not just tried putting it there. Now, of course, I'd recommend just 2 upsells and be done with it. Don't do like the 7-chain, 7-chain upsell thing that ClickFunnels popularized. I think people are pretty burned out with that. But again, you could test and come back and be like, Jason, you're totally wrong. I did 7 upsells and my customers love it, right? So I'm starting to ramble. Let's go ahead and round this off with the 2 buttons at the bottom. So at the bottom, we're going to need a button that is essentially saying, hey, I want this upsell. Please add the price there. I think it's really going to help you, especially if you have to deal anything with credit card companies. If you send them screenshots, you just have the actual price that's being added to their order. And please make it clear, especially if it's a subscription. We do not want pissed off customers, and chargebacks will change. So if someone purchases an upsell, it's a subscription, 6 months later, they're upset and unhappy. I know I talk about chargebacks a lot, but it's really important. 6 months later, they're unhappy. Guess what? When they charge back, it's not 1, it's not 2, it's 6. And so it's like an instant 6 hits against your account. And depending upon how strong or how strong your merchant account thinks you are, that can cause some real headaches. So just make sure it's clear. And of course, the final link is to say no. I'm not interested in the upsell. And so that does it for the ADA framework applied to the upsell page. Those are all the elements that we need. And you will notice that I skipped desire. I really don't think you need testimonials on this page, but if you have some, you can of course include them. Now, jumping back up to the top of our upsell page, instead of having a simple product image, once you get it launched, I highly recommend putting a upsell video here. It only needs to be 3 minutes. And just like your video sales letter for your sales page, it can be 100% slides. Now, to do this, we'll use something called the PINE formula. Yes, I just like coming up with acronyms. So for this acronym, P stands for problem. So this is the problem that you're going to reveal in their next step. Then we're going to intensify the consequences of not preemptively addressing this issue. We're going to present a niche solution, and then of course we're going to energize them to take action. So these are 5 simple steps that we'll go through for this particular formula. Now, as we go through the examples and the actual copywriting formulas here, this is of course a guideline, right? I of course do my best to make sure that these are as easy to follow as possible, but I don't want you to feel so restricted that you have to do it this way. I definitely don't all the time. The only hard and fast rule I would say here is keep this whole video under 5 minutes. 5 minutes is just way too long for this particular page. We really want it to be short and sweet. So let's go ahead and kick things off with the first section of our little VSL, and that's going to be P, addressing the problem. So we'll break each section down into 3 parts. And because I can't memorize all of my notes, I'm just going to read off my screen for this one. Now, for the first 45 seconds of our upsell video, we're just affirming our ideal customer's purchase, right? So we want to make sure that we reinforce the decision they just made before we present them with another offer. So whatever main problems the main product solves and delivers, we'll talk about it as if it's already been taken care of because they purchased it, it's in the past, we're looking forward to the future now. This is also a great way to make sure that we create a good amount of separation between our initial offer and our upsell offer. Plus, customers like being reassured that they made a good decision. We want them to feel good about doing business with us. So we would start with something like this. I won't read through every single formula and example. Please feel free to pause if you want to read through them. Just for time purposes, we would be here 5 times as long, right? So all we're doing here is we're congratulating them on their purchase. We're affirming their decision to take this action and then setting the stage for the next step in the journey. Now, this next step, this is where we're going to bridge between the results the main product has delivered to them and the next roadblock. So we acknowledge the progress made. I know it seems a little silly, but we're saying, hey, you're making progress because they purchased a course. It's kind of like one of those things saying, what's the first step? Admitting you have a problem and actually doing something about it. So they're doing something about getting the result. Think of all the other people who just don't take action at all. So we want to be encouraging. Hey, you're on the right path. You're taking the right steps. And then empathize with the new roadblock that you are about to present, which is right here. So this is really tricky, right? Okay. This is tricky. It's not easy. We want to clearly articulate a new roadblock they face, and we want to make it clear that this new action is important and it's going to keep them from future results that they want, not results that the product they already purchased solves. They have those results. We're talking as if they already have them. We're talking about the next set of results they want or other similar results that they want. But we aren't touching any of the results or roadblocks that we talked about when we were selling our initial product here. So we want to say things like it will become vital because we're talking about something in the future. We're future pacing them now. I think I've beaten that enough. So if we were to put all 3 sections together in small print here, this is what the problem section might look like for selling a Facebook ads library, right? So again, you can always pause if you want to read through all of the examples. For time purposes, I'm just going to keep going. So this is essentially how we're trying to make a smooth transition between their product, the product they have, and the product they should purchase next. So next, we want to intensify the potential dangers of not taking action. So we've established what the next problem is going to be, and we want to paint a vivid picture of the consequences and struggles that might come up if this problem isn't started to address now. It's kind of one of those things, well, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of... Wow, I've been talking too long. I'm totally drawing a blank. Here's what this actually saying is supposed to be. So anyway, we'll use storytelling, some visuals and language to magnify the pain and frustration that your audience may experience in the future as they continue down their journey. So of course, first we're going to have consequences. We're painting that vivid picture, highlight tangible financial impacts such as wasted ad spend, lost revenue, or we could paint a vivid picture of operational challenges, ineffective campaigns, and stunted growth. Or we could describe some emotional things like stress, frustration, and sense of defeat. I'm just kind of going with my Facebook ads example here. Then, of course, we want to create some urgency, convey the immediacy of the problem, like the longer they wait, the bigger the problem is going to be, empathize with the compounding nature of the issue. We just want to make them realize that they really shouldn't be waiting around to solve this problem. They really should be taking action on it now so that it never becomes a big issue or it never becomes an issue at all. And so we just want to create a little bit of fear of missing out on success if they don't take us up on this offer and prevent the problem that they're going to face. And then finally, we really want to drive home the emotional toll, the problem of the issue by painting a clear picture of, frustration, stress, or a sense of defeat that might come from the struggle with it. So validating their current feelings of fear and frustration with whatever it is they're already struggling with, or that what they're about to struggle with, and then of course invoke a sense of hope that we can alleviate their pain. So by breaking down the intensify section into 3 steps, we can pretty methodically kind of heighten the emotional impact. Again, you can pause if you want to read through this entire example. So next we're going to jump into niche, and this is where we get to our actual upsell offer. I know I've been talking for quite a while, but again, this video is only supposed to be about 3 minutes long. So when you read through just 5 or 6 sentences, it goes pretty fast. And of course, we want to quickly and efficiently demonstrate how our solution, aka the offer that we have for our upsell, is the logical choice to prevent these future problems. And so we present the solution now that we've intensified things, clearly state the solution that you're offering. So you're just introducing the offer, explain how it solves the problems you just talked about and you just intensified, and then of course set the stage for some unique benefits, which is the next section. So here you want to focus on how this offer is going to make things easier and faster for them, right? So this is somehow going to make their journey either quicker or less painful, right? So sometimes we can't shorten the amount of time it takes, right? But we can make the journey easier for them. And so we'll highlight some key benefits of our offer and think of this as kind of like 2 or 3 bullet points, right? That you're just saying out loud in the video. And then of course we go to proof, just want to establish some quick credibility, demonstrate that your solution actually can deliver on the promises you just made, aka helping them achieve a result and overcome the roadblocks and problems that you presented. And if you want to flash a couple testimonials or social proof, this would be the place to do it. It needs to be something that's super easily digestible, right? You don't want to stop for a 30-second video clip of someone singing your praises. It should all be text, and ideally something that you can read relatively quickly. And so here is a lot of text, but here's the example of what the niche section would look like for our Facebook ads library upsell. Again, you can pause if you want to read through the entire thing. So finally, we've got energize, and this is where we just want them to take action, right? We want them to scroll down and click that button that says, yes, add this to my order, as opposed to no thanks, I'm good. And so we'll put a image of the solution on screen and essentially state whatever the unique selling proposition of the offer is. And this will feel like you're repeating what you did a couple sections earlier, and that's okay. We're being short and sweet, and we're really focusing our message down. Then, of course, we can create some urgency, reminding them this is a one-time offer. It's only here today at this price. Make sure you don't say the price in the video. You don't want to have to go edit it later. So just say at this price, and then on screen, put the price. That way you can easily change the price and mix and match your whatever you're actually offering or including in the offer, or add some bonuses later on. And then of course the call to action, tell them to scroll down and click the button to add it to their order. This is something that I learned from John Benson, who is the guy who is the inventor of VSLs. Always tell people exactly what to do. Scroll down and click the add to order button below. If you really want to be ninja, then you could go ahead and even say the button color and say exactly what's going to be on the button. For the most part, I just say the button color because sometimes I change what's on the button, or I totally forget that I said enroll now and then the button says order now, and then it's a little bit incongruent and it could actually wind up hurting your conversion. So here is the example of the energize section. And of course, here's an example of the entire script altogether. I know it's a lot of text, but if you want to read through it, you can go ahead and pause, and hopefully it helps you come up with some ideas for your own upsell video. All right, so let's get started actually building out our upsell page. So jumping over to Systemi here, I'm in our demo funnel that you can grab in the description. And on the free plan, you can only have one active upsell. So the way the upsells work is you can go and click on add step, come over here under sales, and you'll see there's upsells and downsells. And so we'll go ahead and click on upsell. We'll leave downsells as when you have one that is less. So if someone says no to an upsell, then Systemi would send them over to a downsell. But that's advanced for another day. You'd go ahead and click on upsell and then give it a name. But because we already have a page all set, all I need to do is click the upsell and drag it right after the sales letter, and Systemi will take care of the rest in the background. Now, if you upgrade in the future and you have multiple upsells, you just have to have them in the order that you want. And of course, you need to end it with a confirmation page. So here, I'll go ahead and click on our upsell page and I'll jump into edit it. Now, just like with any page in your funnel, the first step to editing the page, here's the template that we'll be going through, is coming over to settings, fixing up your typography, uploading your custom fonts if you have any, so that every page in your funnel looks congruent. Of course, changing out the colors as well. Jump down here, skip SEO, don't need that at all. Jump down here to put in your tracking codes. I'm always going to say that. Remember to put in your tracking codes. And then if you're on the paid plan, you of course can go ahead and remove the commissions banner or tab or button, whatever we're going to call it here, because we want people to focus on our upsell offer, not get distracted by signing up for Systemi. Although it is nice to collect affiliate commissions, we'll just do it at a later time if it makes sense to promote it. That's the other thing too. There are a lot of niches where it doesn't make sense to promote funnel software, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and jump over here. So at the top, of course, you'd want to go ahead and change this and drop in your logo, same editing across all your other funnel pages, right? Now up top here, what we did is we created this little transaction bridge section. So it's really clear, or I think it's clear, that the order is still in progress. Now, if you decide to make your own templates, whatever your sales page or checkout page looks like, you want to use a very similar design on this page. So it looks like a natural progression and congruency. And so whatever you decide to put up here, I'm just going to leave it alone, and I'll go ahead and jump down to my headline. So to save us some time, I'm going to pull a template of copywriting from one of our paid offers, and I'll go ahead and highlight. I'll hit Command-Shift-V on a Mac, Control-Shift-V on Windows, so I keep the formatting and font that I want in Systemi, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the spaces here. And of course, if I don't like how this looks, I don't right now, I'll go ahead and click on the element and I will play with margin. So right now it looks like I don't have any margin at all, which means I don't have a lot to work with. But maybe if I change it to 50, it won't work, but 75 did. And so now I have this nice reverse pyramid looking headline. Now, of course, we do want to check it on mobile and make sure it doesn't look too funny. So of course, on mobile, I'd probably go ahead and remove the margins. Actually, they're already removed, so we're good. So that's pretty much all we need to do for our headline grabbing attention, because the template already has this set up for us. So then the next section here, we need to, of course, drop in whatever our image is going to be for our product. We just click there, upload our image, or if we have a VSL, that's a maximum of 5 minutes, then we can go ahead and click video, drag that in, and we can upload it directly to Systemi. And that's what I recommend doing, unless for some reason you're already paying for Wistia or Vimeo. Sometimes those load a little faster than Systemi's videos, but for the most part, you just upload it directly to Systemi and call it good, even on the free plan. And when it comes to the video settings, please leave autoplay off. I actually recommend not having autoplay on and just have your thumbnail say click to play. And so that's what we do with all of our sales videos, because there's so many browsers these days that block the audio. And so the video will start playing. They'll, miss the first 10 or 15 seconds and then nothing makes sense. So just go ahead and leave the autoplay off. And so just to have people click. So I'll go ahead and delete that. Then I have another round of copying and pasting from our template. So we'll go ahead and speed through this. And just like that, I've got some super basic bullet points in there and a little introduction. And of course, then we have our money back guarantee. I'll just go ahead and say 90 days. We want this to match whatever the guarantee is on your sales page. Otherwise, it will confuse people. And I don't remember the offer name we had here. I think it was Facebook. Yeah, Facebook ads library. And again, the template I'm just copying from for time purposes. It's part of one of our paid courses. So then at the bottom here, this is where things get unique for our upsell page. Because at this point, you've probably done all this stuff already, right? So for here, we want to make it really clear that this is a crazy, cool, awesome discount. So for our example, it goes from $45 all the way down to $9.97. So I can remember 45 and 9.97, but I'm definitely not going to remember, whoops, but I'm definitely not going to remember the percentage. So I'll drop that percentage in, and then the final price is 9.97. There we go. Now, I'm also going to recommend putting it down here as well. I always like to cover my bases on these pages, just in case I come back and change something in the future and I forget that that was the only place I actually had the price. And we'll say save 35 off the original price, right? So they're saving $35, which is like 77%. And that does it for all of our text. Now, when it comes to how Systemi works uniquely with this page, these two are actually both buttons. So when we come over to elements here, and we don't need forms or checkboxes, but what we do need is accept offer button and decline offer button. So I'll go ahead and add them so you can see what it looks like. But first I'm going to use 2 columns. So I'll go ahead and drag 2 columns right there. And then I'll drag the accept and I will drag the decline. And so this way, if someone clicks this, Systemi knows, hey, they want to buy this product. We're going to give it to them and we're going to charge their card. If someone clicks this button, then Systemi knows they don't want it. They're not going to charge the card. And if you're doing a downsell, then they'll be sent over to the downsell. And so that is what these 2 buttons are. Personally, I saw some upsells. I would give credit if I could remember whose upsell it was, where instead of having a green button and a gray button like a lot of upsell pages do, they actually just put it as a link at the bottom. And I really like that format. So I actually just reformatted the decline offer to look like a link. So say, no thanks, I'm good on my own, or yes, upgrade my order today. Now checking my notes, I forgot 2 things. Number 1, the price offer here, you can actually drag that in, but I think it looks really ugly. So I don't want this on this page. So I would rather, just go ahead and have the actual total here. And somehow I accidentally undid what I typed. And so just typing in the total there. And then the other thing is, if you wanted to have testimonials on this page, then this would be the place to do it, right here, right before the money back guarantee. So I'd go ahead and drag in a row right after the bullet points, and then I'd come over to blocks, because why design it from scratch when they already have it done for you? And I'd go ahead and choose one of the testimonials. So I like the one at the bottom, so I just go ahead and click and drag that in. Oh, actually it's a section. So I'd go ahead and drop the section in, and then I would drag the row up to where I want it. Come on, Systemi. There we go. We're almost there. If you're like, really? Does everybody else have this problem? Yes. Every page builder I play with seems to have this issue. Like, come on, just one more. All right, you know what? That's close enough. There we go. Because then I can just take this row and drop you down. And then I'll delete the row that I made. Boom. There we go. So now we have our testimonials, and we can update them. I'll probably just take off this silly thing. We don't need that. And of course, we'd want to fix the spacing, change the row so that it doesn't have this little white bar here and all that fun stuff. So that does it for all of the design elements of our upsell page. And so now what we need to do is actually set up this pricing. And of course, you would want to connect it to a product. And so after deleting the demo elements we don't actually need, I'll go ahead and scroll up here, click on Save Changes because it does not autosave. And then we'll go ahead and exit and set up our price. So we are on the upsell page. All we need to do is come down to Price Plans, click the plus button. And just like you did with your sales page, you can go ahead and choose the type of payment you want. So in this particular instance, I could take the exact same payment as I did for my sales page, or I could go ahead and create a new one, which is probably a better idea. And of course, I'd go ahead and give it a descriptor and name. And so here's a quick example of how I would fill this out. On the display, I would say 77% discount. It just helps reinforce the fact that this is a discount. And then for my internal name, I'm just going to say what price it is. So I know what the end price is, and I never have to do math on the fly and make my self be embarrassed. Then for the descriptor, of course, this is what shows up on someone's credit card statement. So we're going to be very boring and plain. And of course, this is going to be a one-time payment of $9.97, and I could go ahead and click on save, and then I would be good to go here. So now we have our pricing plan there. And so when someone clicks that link on our upsell page to add this to their order, they'll be charged $9.97 in addition to their initial purchase. And with that, you are ready to start adding upsells to your own sales funnels, increasing your sales 30, 60, even 180%. Now, everything we did in this guide can be done on the free plan of Systemi.io. So make sure you check out that link in the description to our funnel template pack that has a copy of all of our funnel templates, including the upsell one we just went through, as well as an email campaign and a course framework to help you go from idea to launch in just a few days. So hit that like button, subscribe for more marketing guides just like this one. And until the next, keep building the business you love.